Let me ask you a question. Would you hand over your driver's license, passport, or TSA number to a private company you've never heard of that isn't regulated and that may even be outsourcing your data to workers overseas? If you're in trucking, chances are you already have. Today on Axel Live, we're exposing how private carrier vetting and onboarding platforms in the freight industry have become giant data warehouses. They collect sensitive information, driver's license, vehicle registrations, insurance, TWIC card numbers, and more. And here's the kicker. These platforms aren't regulated like credit bureaus, yet they control who brokers will do business with. That means your livelihood depends on them, and your privacy may already be compromised. If you think I'm exaggerating, consider this. The U.S. DOT Inspector General already found 13.6 million unencrypted personal records sitting in FMCSA systems. They even planted malware to prove the point, malware that went undetected. If hackers had done it, the estimated cost just for credit monitoring would have been over $500 million. If government systems are this vulnerable, imagine private platforms. And the industry is already seeing the fallout. In 2023, Estes Express Lines was taken offline for weeks by a cyber attack. Freight was delayed, systems were frozen, and shippers lost trust. That wasn't even a vetting platform. That was just a carrier. Now think about platforms holding the keys to thousands of carriers and millions of records. Let's break down what these platforms actually do. Companies like RMIS, My Carrier Packets, Highway, Carrier 411, Carrier Assure, and others promise fraud prevention and automated compliance. They scan millions of data points, continuously monitor carriers, and automate the paperwork. Sounds good in theory, but in practice, that means they're centralizing massive databases of sensitive information. A hacker doesn't need to breach 1,000 carriers. They just need one of these portals. Here's where it gets scarier. In banking or credit, data handlers are regulated by strict laws like the Fair Credit Reporting Act. In trucking, nothing like that. Yet these platforms are basically creating secret credit scores for carriers. Meanwhile, they may request uploads of driver's licenses, passports, and more, touching areas that fall under privacy laws like the Driver's Protection Act. But there's no clear oversight. Many of these companies also outsource IT and data handling overseas. That could mean your information is being accessed in Mexico, Colombia, Europe, even Pakistan. Now, not every offshore worker is bad, but when you add in cartels, terrorist organizations, and foreign cyber gangs already targeting US systems, the risks are massive. Picture this. A hacker steals a broker's login, enters a vetting portal, and downloads every uploaded W-9, driver's license, insurance certificate, and bank routing number in seconds. From there, identity theft, fraud, and even cargo theft becomes simple. We already know FMCSA portal credentials have been targeted by criminals. It's not if, it's when. So what can you do? Here's my checklist. Ask platforms if they're SOC 2, Type 2, or ISO 27001 certified. Demand proof of encryption at rest and in transit. Make sure multi-factor authentication is enabled. Ask about data retention. How long do they keep your files? Require a list of some subcontractors and sub-processors. Push for US-based data storage or legal transfer protections. And most importantly, never overshare. Upload only the documents absolutely required. The freight industry has enough fraud to fight already, but privacy and cybersecurity cannot be ignored. These platforms are supposed to protect brokers as well as carriers, but what if they end up being the biggest security hole of all? Security isn't anti-freight, it's pro-freight. And the next breach doesn't have to own this industry if we act now. I want everyone to understand something. When you use these vetting platforms as a carrier or even as a driver, you're putting your personal information, stuff like your driver's license, your TWIC, your TSA number, your banking information, your vehicle registrations. There has to be a regulation or some kind of oversight because this data is flowing freely to these platforms that do not have the correct cybersecurity in place. Everybody's in danger here. We always hear about these cybersecurity attacks. We've heard about it with the phone companies, credit bureaus, and everything. Yet in trucking, they are creating something that can be the biggest security breach in all of US history, with the millions, maybe just thousands, of drivers' information, carriers' information, brokers' information, shippers' information, receivers' information. So tell me, everybody, right now, how is this not a very serious concern? Yet these vetting platforms are quick to tell you they are good. They are the best. They're going to help you out. And brokers and carriers are now becoming dependent on them, putting everybody in risk. This has to be taken very seriously. A look-see, as we say in this industry, a full audit needs to be done. Because these private companies that are building these platforms, and trust me, many of them are very poorly built. And they have these overseas employees, which I've showed in some of my episodes, from Pakistan, God forbid, with 40 known terrorist organizations. But yet we're sending our information to these vetting platforms to put in the hands of their employees that are, many of them, overseas, Colombia, Mexico, Pakistan, Europe. So who's to say those computer systems that they're operating from are not protected? Forget about just their platforms alone. Their computer systems or their laptops or their desktops or their phones that they're using over there, trust me, we have a very serious issue here. And I hope everybody takes this seriously because we're going into a new age of trucking. As you can see, there's been a lot of noise, there's been a lot of accidents and some big pushback. But this area in the trucking industry has to be taken seriously. So RMIS, Carrier Sure, Highway, Freight Validate, all of you, you're putting everybody in danger. I don't want to hear about how you're protecting the industry and you're helping to fight fraud, because many of you do not even have cybersecurity professionals on your platform's payroll. There are no reports coming out of how you're protecting everybody's information. So that's the show for today. Give it some thought, folks. Brokers, carriers, think about this very seriously, about the information that you're providing to these platforms. There's a very big danger here. I'm Axel. I'm out. I'll catch you on the next one.